Mountain of Roses. My name is Jocelyn Barceniga.
I'm Marilyn Mahinay.
I am Junilisa Laurito.
We are the group 3, and in this video we will be discussing the population mean and sample mean, the population variance and sample variance, and lastly, the population standard deviation and sample standard deviation. So, stay tuned! Before we proceed, let's discuss all about what is a jigsaw puzzle. Jigsaw puzzle is a cooperative learning strategy that enables each student of a group to specialize in one aspect of a topic or one part of a reading or other tasks. Students meet with members from other groups who are assigned the same aspect, and after mastering the material, return to the home group and teach the material to their group members. With this strategy, each student in the home group holds a piece of a topic's puzzle and work together to create the whole jigsaw. The strategy is often used in other instructional situations for the purpose of team building or quickly managing a large task in a short time. So we have here the topic, the three topic, the population mean and sample mean, the population variance and sample variance, and lastly is the population standard deviation and sample standard deviation. So these three topics will be discussed by the following teachers. The first one to discuss is Miss Dion, second is Miss Jocelyn, and lastly is Miss Marilyn. So please listen carefully for the teachers so that you can learn something about these three topics.
Mountain of Roses. I am Junilisa Laurito. So, population, it is a collection of persons, objects, or items of interest. Meaning, population is a total number of persons or objects. So, for the sample, it is a portion of the whole, and if properly taken is representative of the whole. Sample means that it is a number of items of your study, or from the word sample, so it is a representative of the study. So, for I have here the example. So, I want to conduct a research. So, I want to know if how many students are in Pili Elementary School. So, in this, for I want to know the population first. So, I want to go to their school and ask if how many elementary students in Pili. So, when I go there, I found out that there are 200 students. There are 200 elementary students in Pili, and so the population here is the 200. So the total of elementary students is 200. So that's the population. And now for the sample, how many students in each grade? So for example, grade 1 is 30, grade 2 is 40, grade 3 is 25, grade 4 is 40, then grade 5 is 35, and grade 6 is 30. So that's the sample. And now let's discuss on how to compute the mean. So to compute for the population mean, we simply add all the data and divide it by the number of the data. And of course, we have the formula. So our formula in population mean, it is a summation of x over n. So to begin, we have the problem here. So 10 barangays of Maslog had conducted a tree planting. So the researcher gathered the data of number of trees planted. Now he wants to compute for the mean. here are the list of the barangays who conducted a tree planting. So, and also we have the list here of the trees planted in each barangay. So, our barangay here is A to Z, and then here are the number of trees they planted. So, 94, 85, 88, 79, 88, 75, 89, 91, 84, and 77. So, to compute the mean, first, we need to add all the trees planted in each barangay. So, we add all. So, it is, the result is 840. So, therefore, the number of trees planted in 10 barangays, the total of 840. Let's substitute it to our formula. So, 840, which is our total, over summation of x, so which is 840 nya daya, and then our n is 10 because 10 barangays are joining the tree planting. So 840 over 10. So therefore, our answer is 840 divided by 10 is equals to 84. So, therefore, the mean here is 84. Okay? So, next is we move the sample mean. So, to compute for the sample mean, we simply add all the data and divide it by the number of the data n, or the number of elements in the sample. So, our formula here is summation of x over n. Here is the example. So, there are the list of students, and then the list of their grades. So, student A, 94, student C, 88, student D, 79, student J, 89, student H, 91, student I, 84, and student J is 77. So, now, let's substitute it to our formula. So, now we need first to add all the grades of the students. So 94 plus 88 plus 79 plus 89 plus 91 plus 84 plus 87 is equals to 602. So therefore, here is 602 over n. So our n here is how many students are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. So therefore, our answer is 602 of divided by 7 is equals to 86. So therefore, our mean here is 86. So that's all for the population mean and the sample mean.
Hi! So, my name is Jocelyn Barcinilla, and in this video, I'll be discussing all about the population variance and sample variance. So, please listen carefully so that you can understand what I'm going to discuss about this topic. Population variance and sample variance. So let's discuss first what is all about the population variance. So it says here that it is the collection of all objects which is observed or examined is called population. The size or amount of the observation in one population can be limited or unlimited. And the values that explain about characteristic of population are called parameter. Population variance represented by sigma squared. So the sign or the symbol of sigma is that one. Let's proceed. In sample variance, it is also the sample variance represents S squared. So it is used to calculate how varied a sample is, and a sample is a select number of items taken from a population. So it says here that sample is only selected in a population. So for example, if you are measuring an American people's weights, it wouldn't be feasible for you to measure the weights of every person in the population. So the solution is to take a sample of the population, say 1,000 people, and use that sample size to estimate the actual weights of the whole population. The variance helps you to figure out how spread out your weights are. Okay, so let's proceed to the formula of each variance. So in our left side, you can see the population variance, the sigma squared equals summation of x minus mu parentheses squared over n. So the sigma squared is our population variance, while the x is the data value, the mu is our population mean, and the n is the population size. In our right side of the slide, it shows here the formula of the sample variance. So S squared equals the summation of x minus x bar parentheses squared over n minus 1. So S squared is the sample variance, x is the data value, x bar is the sample mean, and n is the sample size. So how to solve? In solving population variance and sample variance. So we have here example. So x is equal to 10, 12. So we have data value here 10, 12, 13, 15, and 15. So in order to check or to get the population mean, you have to add the value, the series of values. So 10 plus 12 plus 13 plus 15 plus 15, and you have to divide it and how many value are there. So there are 5. So that the answer is 65 over 5, and our population mean is 30. Take note that the R mu and x bar is same solution to get or to solve. So that is why our population mean and sample mean are the same. So we have here the x, the data, which is 10, 12, 13, 15, and 15. So our mu and x bar, or the population variance and sample variance, is 13. So as I mentioned, or as I discussed earlier, that we have our total, or our mean is 13. So in the next table, it shows here that x minus mu, or x minus x bar. So when you subtract the x or the data value and the population variance or the sample variance, so in first column, in first row, you can say see the -3 because 10 minus 13 is equal to -3. So the next one is 12 deviate to 13 equals -1, and 13 to 13 is 0. 15 minus 13 equals 2, and 15 minus 13 is equals to 2. So the next one is x minus mu squared, or the x minus x bar squared. So you have to square the third row or the third column in order to get the fourth column. So the first row says here that it is 9 because the square root of -3 is 9, and the next one, square root of -1 is 1. The third is the square root of 0 is 0, and the fourth, the square root of 2 is 4. Lastly, the square root of 2 is 4. So the summation of x minus mu or is equals to 0, and the summation of x minus mu squared equals 18. So you, in this column 9, you have to add 9 plus 1 plus 0 plus 4 and plus 4 equals 18. So this is the result of our fourth column that we're going to be connected in the next slide, next solution. Okay, so let's first get the population variance. So the summation of x minus mu equals 0, and the summation of x minus mu squared equals 18. So we have here the formula of population variance. Sigma squared equals summation of x minus mu squared over n. So the our numerator will be 18, and our denominator n represents the number of data. So it is the number of data, or the population size, rather, our population size. So the population size of this is 5. So 18 divided 5 equals 3.6. So our population variance is 3.6. So let's move forward for our sample variance. So summation of x minus x bar squared equals 18. So we have here the formula of sample variance. S squared equals summation of x minus x bar squared over n minus 1. So our numerator is equals to 18, and the denominator is 5, which is our sample size, minus 1. So 18 over 4 equals 4.5. So this is our answer for sample variance. So if you have any clarification, just say it, and we will proceed for our exercise. So I have here data, value data. So we have 25, 26, 32, 37, and 40. So you have to get its population variance and sample variance. So let's see if you understand our topic for this video. Now we will be having, or we will answer our exercise. So I gave it a while ago, our our value or data value is 25, 26, 32, 37, and 40. So let's solve for the sample mean and the population mean, because as what I've said, the procedure is just the same. So we have here 25 plus 26 plus 32 plus 37 plus 40 over the population size or the sample size, which is 5. So the answer is 160 over 5, and our final is 32. So our population mean and our sample mean is 32. So let's make a table. So in the first column, which is the x, so it is our given value, which is 25, 26, 32, 37, and 40, and we already solved the second value or the second column, which is our population mean and sample mean. So our answer is 32. So in the third column, we will subtract the value and the sample mean or the population mean. So the first row is 25 minus 32 equals negative 7. 26 minus 32 equals negative 6. The third row is 32 minus 32 equals 0. And the fourth row is 37 minus 32 equals 5. And the last row is 40 minus 32 equals 8. So our last column will square the third column, which is the square root of 7 is 49. The second row is the square root of 6 is 36. The square root of 0 is 0. The square root of 5 is 25. The square root of 8 is 64. So in the third column, we add it all, and the result is 0. In the fourth column, we will also add, and the result is 174. So our population mean and our sample mean, it has the same value. So let's proceed for our population variance. So in our population variance, we have here already our population mean, which is 174. So we will substitute it in our given formula. So 174 over 5 was get from the population size, which is 5. So the result of 174 divided 5 is 34.8. So our population variance is this value. So the next one, we will get the sample variance. So in order to get that, we will use this formula. We will substitute again the same result from our sample mean, which is 174, divide and minus 1, which is 5 minus 1. So the answer is 43.5. So this is the result, or this is the answer of our sample variance. Thank you for listening. I hope that it is already clear to you and you have understand about what is population variance and sample variance. Thank you for listening.
Mountain of Roses, everyone. I'm Marilyn Mahinay, a BEd student. Then now we talk about the population standard deviation. So what is the population standard deviation? So population standard deviation is a parameter which is a fixed value calculated from every individual in the population. So population in standard deviation is the square root of the population variance. And we will interpret this as being representative of deviation in the population, so hence the name of the standard. So what is the formula of standard deviation? So the formula of standard deviation can be represented using the sigma notation. So, square root of sigma, the formula of standard deviation is square root of sigma, open parenthesis, x minus u squared 2 divided by n. Then, the standard deviation formula is the square root of the variance. So, the symbol of the formula is this symbol is represent as population standard deviation, and the sigma is the sum of. Then the x is the value from the population, and the u is the population mean, and the n is the size of the population. So, the formula of population standard deviation is square root of sigma, open parenthesis, x minus u squared divided by n. So, here is the example 4m and 3m and 7m. So, how to get this how to get the mean is we're going to subtract the 3 samples. This is the 4 plus 3 plus 7 is equal to 14. Then divided by the size of the population or the number of samples, which is the 3. So there are 3 samples. There are the 3 samples, the 4, 3, and 7. Then the 4 plus 3 plus 7 is equal to 14 divided by 3. So the answer is 4.7 m, or the 4.7 m is the arithmetic mean. So, how to get the population standard deviation is we're going to substitute the value from the population, which is the x. So 4 minus 4.7 so 4 minus 4.7 is equal to negative 0.7 squared then negative 0.7 squared is equal to 0.49. Then next is 3 minus 4.7 is equal to negative 1.7 squared. Then negative 1.7 squared is equal to 2.89. Then the next is 7 minus 4.7 is equal to 2.3 squared. So the answer is 5.29. So 0.49 plus 2.89 plus 5.29 divided by 3 is equal to 8.67 divided by 3. So the answer is 2.89. So what will be the units for this population? So the unit for this population is m. Then the 2.89 the 2.89 is the standard population of deviation. So, the square root of 2.89m is equal to 1.7m. So, the answer is 1.7m is the population standard deviation. So, this is the answer of population standard deviation. That's all. Thank you.